Hi, I'm Monica Gingold and I am going to do a tutorial showing you how I did my makeup when I got married in June last year. I love doing my makeup myself, it was really special, and I'm going to recreate this is the look and you're going to learn how I did it. Okay, so I'm going to start the makeup look today by prepping my skin. So these are my favourite. This is the Embryolisse. This is for normal to dry skin, and this is the more matte one, which is better for oily skin. So I like to use both. So I'm going to start with the matte one on my T-zone. So my nose gets quite oily. It's a bit on my nose, forehead, and chin. And then I'm going to use this one, which is the more for dry, normal to dry skin. And that goes on the cheeks. So because this look is quite a dark eye, I'm going to do my eyes first and then clean up underneath and then go back and do my skin. But I'm going to prep the eyes by using, I've got the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk, and I'm using number 6. And I'm just doing a light layer over the whole eyelid. And I'm just going to pop a little bit above here because I'm going to do my eyebrows too, and that just needs a little bit of foundation. So now I'm going to set the foundation that I've just put on my eyes with, this is the MAC Prep and Prime translucent powder. Just a little bit to lock that in so that that doesn't smudge later on. So now I'm going to do my brows. I like to do brows before I do the eyeshadow so that I can get the frame right, and it really helps create a better shape for the eyeshadow. So I'm using, that's a flat angle brush with a spoolie on the end. So I'm using a brown brow powder, and I'm just going to fill in a little bit under here. And then I've got a clear brow gel. So when you're filling in your brows, it's important to follow the direction that the hairs grow. So it doesn't look too makeup-y that way, because I don't want it to look really painted on. Just want it to look like brows, just a bit more refined than what they are naturally. And then with the brow gel again. So now I'm going to be using, this is Groundwork from MAC. This is a really amazing product. It's an eye paint. And you can apply it with a brush or with your fingers, and it just goes over the whole eyelid. And it's creamy, but it sets, and then it really keeps the makeup on all day. So if you find sometimes you put your makeup on in the morning and then by the evening it's gone or it's creased, this really stops that happening. And the colour Groundwork is great because it's very neutral. So it's just over the whole eyelid, sort of up to the crease. Okay, so now I'm going to start with my eyeshadow. The main colour that I used on my wedding was Bronze from MAC. So I've taken the product on here, just tapping the excess off and just pressing it on the eye. And this was basically over the whole eyelid and a bit above the crease. What I like to do is hold my mirror out like this, and with my eyes open work out how high up I want that shape to be. And it was quite winged. So this is Embark from MAC. It's a really nice matte chocolate brown, and I'm using it with a shorter, less fluffy brush just to get a bit more intense colour in these corners. So now I'm going to be using the Solar Flare palette from BH Cosmetics, which came as a gift from America a couple of days before my wedding from my cousin. And I used, this one is Anti-Gravity, which is a really beautiful chocolate brown, very, very metallic finish. And I'm just popping that in the centre. And then I'm going in with this one, which is Orb. Then I used Brown Border Pencil from MAC. This is a really nice brown, very soft pencil. And I'm putting that, pressing it right into the lash line. So now what I'm going to do is clean up any fallout that's fallen out from underneath. I'm using Bioderma and just cleaning up any fallout. So now I'm going to do my whole skin, and then I'm going to finish off by doing under my eyes once the skin is done. So this is my favourite makeup brush. This is the Ray Morris 23 foundation brush available at Mecca. It's just beautiful. The hairs basically do all the work for you, so you can do your own makeup so easily with that. Don't forget your neck. And under your jaw, and in the ears. And then I'm going in with the smaller brush. This one's a MAC one. Just to add a little bit more foundation under the eyes. So now what I'm going to do is just to give the face a little bit more dimension and not be so flat, I'm using a slightly lighter concealer and just patting it along the cheekbones and under the eyes. But I don't want it to be very light or white, it's just a little bit. You can always add more, so better to not go in too much and then try and blend it away. Now I've got my translucent powder again. I'm just going to set the makeup just where it needs it, so a little under the eyes, on my nose because that's where I get quite oily, and the sides of the nose, forehead, and the chin a little bit. So to do my contour, I'm going to be using, this is Fenty Beauty, this one is Truffle. So I never do this where you draw it straight on the face. I find it really hard to blend it away, and when you blend it, you end up moving the foundation around. So what I like to do is draw a little bit on my hand, and then using my finger to warm it up a little bit. Applying the contour this way. You can see it's much more subtle, you can build it up gradually. It just gives the illusion of shadow. And then if you need, you can go back with that one. So then as you need a little bit more product, just add a little bit more to your hand, warming it up with fingers. So now I'm going to do my, just under the jaw, just for a little bit of definition, make sure we don't have a double chin. But it should be very subtle, shouldn't look stripy. And I'm just going to do the tiniest bit down the sides of the nose. So if you can see the lines, it means you've done too much, so you can just buff that in a little bit with the foundation brush. So now I'm going to do under my eyes, so I'm going to go back with the bronze, the first MAC colour. And I'm applying that all the way across the lash line. And I'm making it quite thick in the outer corners, so it gives more of a winged shape. And then going in with the fluffy brush just to soften that shape. Then I'm going in again with Embark, which is the matte brown. Just building it up in those outer corners. So now I'm going to do bronzer, and I'm using, this is Hourglass. This is Luminous Bronze Light. It's the lighter of the bronzers that they have. And I'm starting from where the contour was and just blending up. And I love this bronzer because it gives such a beautiful glow to the skin. And it's slightly shimmery but not sparkly. And up from the hairline. So from the contour, blending up. And on the top of the forehead. And then just making sure that that's all really blended. So for my blush, I used the Stilla cream blush. The colour is Peony. It's really beautiful, soft pink. And the cream gives a really beautiful, dewy finish to the skin. With cream blush, you can use your fingers or a brush, but I like to use a brush. And I'm applying it when you just do like a little, tiny little pop of smile. This bit that comes forward is where we're applying the colour. And it's really just applying a little bit and blending it in, and then a little bit more. I'm not going in with heaps of product on the brush. And then if you need to, you can go back with this one and just blend this in. Oh, it's coming alive. So for the highlighter, I'm using the Benefit WhatsUp highlighter, which is a cream stick. And I am applying it just on the bone and a little bit up into the brow. You don't want to affect that eyeshadow too much. When I'm applying cream highlighters, I really like to use my fingers because it warms them up a little bit and makes them easier to blend. And it's a patting motion, not a wipe. And then just a little down the bridge of the nose, not too much, and definitely not too much on the tip. And then using the same highlighter just on a smaller brush, doing these inner corners and a little bit under the brow. So just you can see in progress, you can see that highlighter catching the light. And just to enhance that highlight a little bit more, I'm now using, this is MAC Soft and Gentle, which is a really nice powder highlighter. And that is just going over the top of that highlighter, but just the tiniest bit. It's just a dusting because I really don't want it to look frosty. So I like to do mascara after I've done my powders and bronzers and highlighters, because if your mascara is wet and you use powder and there's a little bit of powder and it sort of flicks up and catches on the lashes and they don't look as black. So now we're up to mascara, now that bronze is done. And this is my eyelash curler, and I'm just going in quite close to the roots of the lash. A couple of pumps. And then going to the ends and just doing that again, a couple more pumps. I curl the lashes in a couple of spots along the lash so that they don't just stick up on a right angle and look really straight. We want them to have a bend in a couple of places because it just makes the curl look more natural. For every day, I don't really like to use a waterproof because I find it really hard to get off, but on a wedding day, no question, has to be waterproof. And I used the Covergirl Lash Blast Volume. This is a really, really good waterproof product. So I'm putting it in at the base of the lashes and then just wiggling it through. So these cotton buds are from Swispers, and they're really great because they've got those pointy tips. So if you do make a little mistake with your mascara, the pointy tip just really helps just get little flecks of mascara off. To make my eyes look a bit more bright and awake and alive, I'm going to be using, this is a cream eyeliner pencil. This one's from Rimmel. All the sort of pharmacy brands are fine. And I'm just drawing that on the waterline of the eye. The cream is just a bit softer than white, but it is very subtle. And it just makes the eyes look a bit fresh. All right, so all that's left to do is some false eyelashes and my lips. And on my lips, I'm using Velvet Teddy from MAC. And on yourself, you can just apply it from the lipstick, but I like to use a brush on myself. So a good tip if you're struggling with getting a perfect shape is do the middle first. So that way you know that that's going to be symmetrical, and then just joining up those edges. All right, so I'm going to use some little individual eyelashes. I love these ones from Lash. And I've got the glue on my hand, and I'm just taking a little bit of glue on the tip of the lash. So I'm just popping them on in the corners just to give a little bit of extra thickness. So I've got about 4 on each side in the outer corners. And the glue goes on white, but when it dries, it's clear. So that's how you know when it's dry, and only put mascara on once the glue has completely dried or the lashes will move around. Just tapping a little bit of extra mascara onto those lashes that I just added. So just do another little coat of mascara on top of the lashes. And that's it. That's the look. This is how I wore my makeup to my wedding.